The biting wind howled a mournful dirge across the snow-laden peaks, a stark white shroud over a world about to be irrevocably broken. The air itself seemed to weep, carrying the scent of pine and an unspeakable dread. This was a familiar path, a journey etched into the very soul of a young boy, yet this time it led only to desolation. Tanjiro Kamado returned to the chilling silence of his home, a silence far more terrifying than any scream. The familiar warmth of his family's hearth had been extinguished, replaced by an icy grip that seized his heart. The scent of blood, thick and metallic, clung to the frigid air, a cruel testament to the horror that had unfolded. His world, once vibrant with laughter and love, lay shattered before him. A demon's cruel hand had swept through his humble abode, leaving only death in its wake. Each beloved face, now still and cold, was a dagger twisting in his gut. But the deepest wound, the most agonizing void, was the absence of his little sister. Nezuko, his bright-spirited Nezuko, was gone. There was no flicker of life, no desperate gasp, no chance for salvation. The hope that had once fueled his every breath, the desperate, burning desire to save her, was utterly extinguished. It was a hope that had never even been born in this desolate reality. Only the cold, hard truth remained. She was lost forever. The close-up of Tanjiro's face, once soft with compassion, was now a mask of profound grief and unyielding rage. The warmth of family, the gentle embers of his humanity, had been brutally snuffed out. In their place, a cold, consuming fire ignited within him. This fire was not one of protection or healing, but of pure, unadulterated vengeance. His new motivation was singular, absolute, and terrifying in its intensity. He would hunt, he would destroy, and he would never rest. The Demon Slayer Corps, for him, became not a path to protect the innocent or restore what was lost. It was merely a weapon, a means to an end, a tool forged in the crucible of his despair. He sought not to save, but to annihilate. He joined their ranks with a chilling resolve, his eyes fixed on a single, burning target, the demon responsible for his family's demise. But his mission quickly expanded, fueled by an insatiable hunger for retribution. Every demon he encountered became a proxy for the one who had stolen everything. His blade would not be wielded for justice, but for destruction. He would cut down every monstrous entity that dared to stand in his way, each swing a testament to his unyielding, bitter resolve. There would be no mercy, only the cold finality of his sword. Tanjiro's training was a brutal, relentless pursuit of power, his movements sharper, his strikes more precise, his eyes colder than the winter snow. He pushed himself beyond all limits, driven by a silent, burning fury that never dimmed. Every breath was a step closer to his ultimate goal. His bond with Zenitsu and Inosuke, the companions who would have once softened his edges, was fundamentally different in this grim reality. The gentle patience that defined his original self was utterly absent, replaced by a pragmatic, almost ruthless efficiency. He saw them not as friends, but as necessary components. He viewed them as tools, allies in his singular, all-consuming mission of vengeance. Their strengths were assets to be leveraged, their weaknesses mere inconveniences to be tolerated. There was no room for sentimentality in his hardened heart. Zenitsu's incessant cowardice, once a source of exasperated affection, now grated on his nerves, an irritating distraction from his grim purpose. Inosuke's reckless abandon, once a chaotic charm, was merely another obstacle to be managed. He had no time for their antics. Yet he tolerated them, for he understood the brutal calculus of their world. Their combined strength, however flawed, was necessary for the battles ahead. He would use them, just as he would use his own body, until his mission was complete. The Mount Nadagumo arc became a chilling testament to Tanjiro's hardened heart, a brutal display of his unyielding resolve. He fought with a ferocity born not of protection, but of profound, unmitigated loss. Each demon was a reminder, each strike a release of pent-up agony. His blade became a whirlwind of death, cutting through the spider family with a cold, efficient brutality. There was no hesitation, no moment of doubt, only the relentless pursuit of annihilation. He was a force of nature, driven by a grief that had twisted into something terrifying. The Mugen train arc unfolded as a tragedy of a different, perhaps even deeper kind. Rengoku's valiant sacrifice, a beacon of hope and selflessness, served only as a stark reminder of what Tanjiro had lost. It was another life extinguished, another testament to the demon's cruelty. He witnessed the unwavering kindness of others, the selfless courage that defined the demon slayers, but it barely penetrated the armor of his grief. Their warmth was a distant, alien concept, unable to thaw the ice that encased his soul. He fought alongside them, but remained utterly alone. The final battle against Muzan was not a fight for humanity's future, but a relentless personal pursuit of retribution. Tanjiro fought not for the world, but for the memory of his slaughtered family, for the ghost of his lost sister. Every breath was a curse, every strike a promise of vengeance. He was fueled by a rage so profound, so all-consuming, that it threatened to devour him whole. It was a rage that had festered for years, growing with every demon he slew, every memory he relived. He was a living embodiment of vengeance, a force of pure, destructive will. The battle was finally won, the monstrous threat vanquished, but Tanjiro stood alone amidst the silence, a solitary figure against the dawn. The world was saved, the demons eradicated, yet his eyes remained filled with a deep, unyielding sadness. There was no joy, no relief, only an aching emptiness. The victory was hollow, a bitter echo in the vast chasm of his soul. He had achieved his vengeance. He had fulfilled his grim promise, but it had brought him no peace. The ghosts of his family still haunted him, their laughter forever silenced, their warmth forever lost. He was a survivor, yes, but also a prisoner of his own grief, of the path he had chosen, of the rage that had defined his existence. The world moved on, but he remained trapped in the frozen moment of his family's demise. The weight of his choices, the cost of his vengeance, pressed down upon him with crushing force. He had become a weapon, honed to perfection, but now the war was over, and the weapon had no purpose. Only the silence remained, a constant reminder of what he had sacrificed. He had walked through fire and emerged victorious, but the flames had consumed his very essence. The boy who had once dreamed of a peaceful life was gone, replaced by a warrior who had nothing left to fight for and nothing left to lose. Could Tanjiro have found another reason to fight? Another purpose beyond the cold embrace of vengeance? Would a different path have ever opened for a soul so utterly consumed by loss? The question lingers, a whisper in the desolate wind. Could he have found another purpose to live, to truly live, without the guiding light of hope, without the desperate dream of saving his sister? What becomes of a heart that has known only despair, only the relentless pursuit of retribution? What would have become of him, the gentle boy who once sought to heal, without the warmth of Nezuko's humanity to guide his every step? Without her presence, her struggle, her very existence, what fragment of his original self could have possibly endured? And what then would have become of the world itself if Nezuko Kamado had never survived that fateful night? Would humanity have found its salvation? Or would it have been consumed by the very darkness that Tanjiro, in his grim solitude, had fought so desperately to extinguish?